This is the Makers Camp Podcast, where students have learned what a podcast is, what different varieties of podcasts that there are, how to record and edit a podcast using different varieties of equipment. And now it's time to hear the students themselves creating their own podcasts with each other. Makers Camp 2018 podcast starts now.
Welcome to the Rodeo Show. Today your host Odessa here and her guest Jordy Lee. Jordy, how does it feel to be here today?
Good, I'm excited.
Good. Now, what are we going to be talking about today?
Like rodeo stuff.
What kind?
Events and how it goes in order.
Nice. So, if you were to go to a rodeo, what rodeos are we going to be talking about today?
Cheyenne, Dodge City, and Vegas in the Ranch Rodeo.
Okay. Tell me what order, if you were going to go to Vegas, say that you were going to all those rodeos and Vegas, tell me the order that you would probably go in by how they do their ranch rodeo and how big it is.
I'll go to Cheyenne, Dodge City, and then Vegas.
Okay. So, can you please tell me some events?
Team roping, barrel racing, bareback riding, saddle bronc riding, bull riding, team roping, steer wrestling, and calf roping.
Nice. So, is that what all of them have, or just a majority?
Well, Cheyenne, Dodge City, and Vegas have all of them. The ranch rodeo doesn't.
Now, tell me some ones that are in the ranch rodeo.
Milking the cow, pinning. Then you gotta get like 2 or 3 cows in the trailer and a horse.
Nice. That is our show today. Have a good day and a nice week.
Hi, I'm Cody on 10 Hints here with Isley. Hello, Isley.
Hi, I'm glad to be here.
I heard you chose people earlier
Yep.
for your 10 hints.
Yep, I did.
Okay. My person I'm thinking of is famous for his slam dunks.
Next, please.
He is in the NBA, or was.
Next, please.
He is famous or considered, many people call him the best basketball player ever.
Next, please.
He played for the Chicago Bulls in the NBA.
Michael Jordan.
Yup, you got it. Good job.
Yay, I did
Here's
it.
your $10 million.
Hey, thanks. I'm getting these out of here.
Hello, and it is the Legos
Show.
I am here with our guest JC today and me, Shelby. And the only thing we talk about is Legos. So, JC, are you the only one in your family who loves to play Legos?
No, my brother and my dad like to play Legos.
Is there anyone, like, not in your house who loves to play Legos more than you?
No.
Do you like the Legos now or the Legos from back then?
The Legos are in the 1970s.
Me and my sister love the Legos from now.
Okay. What Legos do you like to play with?
Any kind of Legos. I just love all kinds of Legos.
Okay.
I'm working on a little campsite on our Lego table.
Okay. How big is your Lego table?
It's about like 4 feet long and 4 feet wide.
Sounds pretty big.
Do you have a Lego table at your house?
It's my whole basement,
Wow.
which is huge.
Okay, and have a nice
Day.
a day and a nice week and a nice year. And
Bye.
nice-
See ya,
Bye-bye.
cut.
Cut.
Hello, my name is Blair, and thank you for listening to my Walt Disney World podcast. I'm here with my guest, Braylon. She is going to share with us her opinion on top 4 rides at each park in Walt Disney World. So, Braylon, let's start off with Epcot. What were your top 4 there?
I liked Test Track, Soaring Around the World, Mission Space, and Frozen Ever After.
Do you have a favorite out of those 4?
Yes, Soaring Around the World.
Tell us about it.
We got to see the Great Wall of China, deserts, the ocean, and the jungle.
Let's move on to Magic Kingdom. Go ahead and tell us your top 4 from that park.
Big Thunder Mountain, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Space Mountain, and Mission Splash Mountain.
Does one of these happen to be more fun than the others?
Yes, Splash Mountain.
What happens in this ride?
You go into the story about Briar Rabbit. You go on some wet hills. You get splashed. And you get to see all the characters. And you take sharp turns.
Cool. So, next park is Hollywood Studios. What 4 did you like there?
I liked Rock and Roller Coaster, Star Tours, Toy Story Mania, and Tower of Terror.
Could you tell us your favorite and tell us about it?
Yes. My favorite was Rock and Roller Coaster. Because you go on this crazy road, you get in this limo, and you go really fast.
Finally, last park is Animal Kingdom. Do you have 4 that you liked there?
Yes, I have 5. I have Expedition Everest, Avatar Flight of Passage, Cali River Rafted, the Dinosaur Ride, and Dinosaur Spin.
Wow. Was one of them better than all the rest?
Yes, Avatar Flight of Passage. Because you feel you're in Pandora and you feel like you're riding on a banshee. And you feel it breathing between your legs.
Those all seem like amazing rides. I think everyone deserves the opportunity to go experience them and see Walt Disney World for themselves. Thank you, Braylon, for talking with me today on my Walt Disney World podcast.
Yep, bye.
Hey, it's me, RT, and Boyd at the Makers Camp. We are here going to be talking about lizards and insects like ants. And so I'm going to be talking to Boyd first. So Boyd, what's the most venomous snake?
Well, I don't really know all the most venomous snakes, but there are really venomous snakes. The one is called the black mamba, and it's really deadly. There's also a snake called a two-step snake. It's because if it bites you and you take 2 steps, you are dead.
All right. Sounds very scary. So, is there any scaleless reptiles like reptiles that don't have scales?
Frogs. And only frogs and salamanders.
All right. So those are the only ones.
Yes.
And can any reptiles fly, like a bird, or at least glide?
Yes, there is a type of lizard that can glide through the air. And that's it.
All right. Do you know the name of the lizard?
I do not.
All right. So, your turn.
How do you catch a queen ant?
How to catch a queen ant is, so there's a queen ant. A queen ant will lay other queen ants, which will fly out. And the queen ant will also lay drones, and the drones are the boys. And after a rainstorm, when the soil is nice and soft, the queen ants that the other queen ant laid and the drones with wings will fly out, and the drones will mate with the other queen ants, and the drones will die. And then the queen ants will shed their wings and find a place to live. And how you catch one is a little bit after a rainstorm is when you want to catch them, like a day or 2 after a rainstorm. And you know they're a queen ant because their gastro or their butt is big and their thorax, which is the thing in their middle, is large.
Okay. How do you raise a queen ant?
You raise a queen ant by, you put it in a test tube. And the test tube is filled 2/3 of water. You plug a cotton ball in there to stop the water flow, and so the water will normally you rip the cotton ball in half and then put it in there to fill out the water, and so they can still drink from the water. Then you put the queen ant in there, then you plug the end of the cotton ball so they can breathe, and normally you'll rip it in half and use those two.
How do you care for a queen ant?
How you care for a queen ant is when you can give it a drop of honey, but how you identify the queen ant, there's 2 different types. Some queen ants, you don't need to give them anything, but it's always nice to give them honey because it helps them get more workers. And those are the queen ants with their gasters are normally large and their thoraxes are really large. As in the ones that have smaller gasters and smaller thoraxes, you have to feed them some kind of protein and attach them to a tiny little outworld, or put them in a little outworld, or formicarium, which is where they live.
So I think we're done here already.
All right. Bye, and I hope you learned something new about insects and lizards.
Hello, fellow Harry Potter heads. It's me, your host, Gavin, with my co-host, Mallory, and I'm going to be asking her questions about the first book and explaining some of the parts as well as we can. So my first question is to ask you, how did you think when Harry first got his letters, and who did you think they were from?
Well, I didn't really think what they were from. I just knew it had something to do with the magical society or something like that. Because you could tell it was going to be like that because that's what Harry Potter is kind of all about.
And how it said on the letter, when it said, like, when he slept under the staircase, how did you think that? Did you think that was kind of like weird?
It was kind of scary because I thought maybe it's a robber or something, because it kind of scared me because it knew where he lived, basically. It's kind of scary.
So what did you think of his aunt and his uncle and his cousin when they did all that mean stuff to him?
Well, at the beginning of the book, I could tell they were already not very nice people because they made him sleep under a cupboard, number one. And number two, they always were like, for his birthday, they'd give him old socks or something like that. And he'd have to wear Dudley's huge baggy clothes.
That's true. And his life wasn't as normal as everyone else. And when he found out that his parents did not die in a car crash, when he learned about it, don't you think that was kind of weird that his uncle and his aunt tried to keep that secret from him?
Well, I think they were kind of scared too, because then because all the bad things they did to him, maybe he'd get mad and use magic on them. That's what I thought, and that's why they didn't want to tell him, because they'd just get mad.
That's true.
That's just what I was thinking.
And so when he actually found out it was for Hogwarts, and he went on the Hogwarts Express train, and he met Ron and Hermione. First, let's talk about Ron. How did you think about him, or think about him when you first learned about him?
I knew they were going to be best buddies anyway, because Ron and his family were so nice to Harry, and they sat in the same compartment on the train, and they shared snacks, and it was just, you could just tell how
There's like a bond.
Yeah.
And when Hermione came and she was talking all about the school and stuff, what did you first think about Hermione? Like, was she like going to be one of those mean kids, or was she going to be like a book nerd?
I could tell she was going to be a book nerd and one of their friends too, because once they all just sat together and started talking, it was kind of funny how Hermione would just talk about books, and they would just be like, because they didn't read, because they don't know, because I don't think they read them very much.
Yeah. Like they were thinking, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I was just doing something else over that summer break.
So when they got to Hogwarts and they were going to the Sorting Hat, and Hermione and Ron got Hogwarts, and when the Sorting Hat told Harry that he would be good in Slytherin and he didn't want to be in Slytherin, what did you expect?
Well,
it
kind of made sense that he could go to Slytherin, because later in the second book, he would like speak Parseltongue, and I bet the Sorting Hat already knew that. But also, I think he should have been in Gryffindor, because that's where his parents were and stuff, and with his friends. So.
And another reason I saw during when that was happening, that Malfoy was in Slytherin and he really didn't want to, and Malfoy was saying he's a show off and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I knew he was meant to be in Gryffindor. I think everyone did.
So that's really all we have for you guys today, and thank you for listening to our podcast. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, this is Series of Unfortunate Events podcast. I'm your host, Molly Ruff, and our co-host, Wyatt Thompson. The first book we're going to talk about, The Wide Window. Wyatt, how did you feel when the kids walked into the aunt's house?
Well, when I first saw the house, I had a feeling that I knew it was going to fall down because it was over a cliff. And I figured it would probably fall down during Hurricane Herman, because the taxi drivers talked about it.
Okay, so they're going and their aunt is talking about something. So they go in and their aunt like shows them the house a little bit, and then she shows them their rooms, and she has her own library. If you had your own library, what would you do with it?
Read all the books in it.
That would take a long time. So when they were in the room and their aunt was talking to them for a couple of minutes and for a while to make them comfortable at home, they were talking because they were about the hurricane, because there was about to be a hurricane, and they asked their aunt to go get some food. And so she went to the market, and they found the wall to the library. Do you remember what was in the safe?
In the safe was some crackers, pictures, and the book of the incomplete history of secret organizations.
Yeah, and there was also some picture of her aunts. What did she used to do, like box and wrestle?
She would wrestle alligators.
Mm-hmm.
And when they met her at first, she was all scared. But back then she wasn't. She was actually really brave.
Okay, so when she went to bought limes, who was there? Like, who met her?
Captain Sham.
Yes, Captain Sham. And Captain Sham was really Count Olaf.
The bad guy.
Yeah. So, they were going to have Friday sandwiches, right? So she just went to the store and bought limes. And she met Captain Sham, which is Count Olaf, pretty much. So they wanted a Friday sandwich. When their aunt came home and told the kids, what did you feel like was going to happen?
Well, I figured that the kids may be in danger because they knew it was Count Olaf.
Yeah, they did.
But no one believed them.
Yeah, because they told them when they were gonna have Friday sandwiches that he came home, and they said right when she was gonna say something, Count Olaf came, and they were trying to convince their aunt that it was Count Olaf. They were trying to, but so. What do you like? I thought they knew that it was Count Olaf. They can just tell by everything. And they went, and he went, and then they went. Their aunt went off with Count Olaf. And what did you? How were you scared? Were you scared when she went off with Count Olaf?
Yep.
Do you remember? And so they went there, and they come home. Okay. They come home and they
see this picture in the window.
Yeah, and it's really
broken.
a statue, not her, but they thought it was her. And then she wrote a note because Olaf made her. Yeah, and they figured out the puzzle and brought her back home. But then
Count Olaf pushed her off the boat, and she had a banana before the Baudelaires got there, and then the leeches
ate her.
And
they were stuck with Count Olaf, and
then they covered them.
Yeah. Thank you for watching the series of Unfortunate Ovid's podcast.
Look away. The show will wreck your evening, your whole life, and your day. Every single episode is nothing but dismay, so look away.
Hi, I'm your host Mallory, and welcome back to our one and only Jake Show. This is our co-host Carson.
Hello.
Well, Carson, how many times have you been turkey hunting?
I've been 3 times.
And who has took you?
My grandpa.
And how many times have you got a turkey during those 3 times?
Once.
Okay, what kind of turkey? A Jake or like a Tom?
A Jake.
And what kind of gun do you use?
A 20 gauge shotgun.
Do you go practicing with anyone? Your dad, your grandpa?
Not really. But I do go with my computer teacher. He takes me out with my rifle. Actually, we're going tomorrow, so.
Yeah, what places?
We go to our city lake and out to his farm sometimes.
What's your city lake called?
The Jetmore City Lake.
Okay, so do you just shoot turkey or do you go other types of hunting?
I do turkey and coyote and pheasant.
Yes, do you want to go any other kinds of hunting? Like, do you want to go deer hunting? Do you get to do that?
I want to go deer hunting, but my dad doesn't really want me to.
Yeah, it's
because a license is pretty expensive.
It's a lot of money. Yeah, it is. So have you got anything else but turkey? Like, have you got a pheasant too?
Yeah, I got my first pheasant by myself this year. My principal took me actually.
Oh. So what else do you do? Like, do you use any other types of guns? Like, other than a 20 gauge and a rifle?
Well, no, not really.
Yeah, sometimes you just get used to one type of gun. Yeah. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.
See you later.
Okay, this is day 2 of the Cody Show. So, Billy, what have you done this weekend?
Well, I took the water out of my fish's fish tank and I watched him suffocate.
Well, that's rude and...
He was flopping around like he didn't know where he was.
Okay, let's move on. So, what else did you do?
I ate a chicken nugget in one bite, and I'm only 3 years old.
You must have a big mouth to do that.
I know.
So, what else did you do?
Well, I went into my bathroom, and I swear, there's a cockroach the size of a football.
You might need to call a Terminator for that.
It's okay. My mouth took care of it.
Oh. You might want to see a doctor about that, too.
It was pretty juicy.
That is... okay. Okay, this is our next joke would be the duck hunter and the house owner.
So, there's a duck hunter, and he found a duck, and he was chasing it, and finally got a hold of it and shot it. But it landed in this guy's yard. And here was what this guy had to say about that.
This is my duck because it landed in my yard.
But I shot it.
Still, it's my duck.
But how?
Okay, fine. Let's settle this like men.
Okay.
We'll both kick each other in the shins as hard as we can. And the first one that says ow loses.
Okay.
But I get to go first.
Okay. So the house owner winds up and kicks him in the shins as hard as he possibly can. And then says,
okay, you can have the duck. So I think that's it for today's Cody Show.
Welcome to the Summer Fun Show. I'm your host, Bailey, and our guest here today is Hallie. So, Hallie, what is your favorite slushie that you eat over the summer?
The golden ticket.
Awesome. My favorite is Pee-wee.
What's Pee-wee?
Peach kiwi. What's your second favorite?
Rainbow.
What flavors are in rainbow?
Every flavor.
Fun and colorful. My second favorite is wedding cake, especially when you put the ice cream under it. It's really good. So, what size do you usually get?
Mediums.
I usually get medium. Do you ever get anything like on top of it or under it?
Straws.
Do you ever like put, if you like get like a flavor, do you ever like put ice cream under it?
No.
Okay. Thanks for listening to the Summer Fun Show.
Welcome to the comedy show. So, what have you been doing this week, Brody?
Well, I jumped in a pool 2,000 feet tall, and I touched the bottom with my hip.
What else have you been doing?
Me and my family went swimming, and I went into I dived off board, and then I touched the bottom, and then I floated back up because I had my life jacket on.
Wow, those are both impressive. That's the end of the comedy show. Bye.
This has been the Makers Camp 2018 podcast. We sure hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. All the kids had a fun time picking out their own theme music, recording their own shows, and they've set the bar really high for all the Makers Camp podcasts to follow. So, hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.